Play in the Saluki Bash tournament, as well as our soccer team had an interesting homestand last week. We'll have our news desk analyst break it down for us.
Arkansas State was defeated this past Saturday 37-3 against Memphis. Myself and Tristan will give our deep dive analysis about the game, as well as what the Red Wolves have to do to get their first win against Stony Brook. Red Wolf Roundtable starts right now.
Welcome back to Red Wolf Roundtable here on ASU-TV. You guys already know who I am. I'm the man, the myth, the legend, Tristan Harlan, a.k.a. Himothy. To my right is the man, the one and only, the number one of your program, number one in your heart, Cooper, the GOAT, Juicebox Milner. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good. Thank you, Tristan. You know, another disappointing weekend from the Red Wolves football team. We will get into that. But, you know, I heard volleyball and soccer had a pretty good weekend themselves. So I think we know what time it is.
You already know. Check your watch, dial it up, because it's time to send it to everybody's news desk analyst, James Lowry and Hannah Hatfield. Guys, take it away.
Thanks, Juicebox. Thanks, Tristan. So we're going to jump into some A-State soccer. During the homestand on Sunday, Arkansas State put out a win against Southeastern Louisiana. That score of that match was 1-0. And also on Thursday, the Red Wolves hosted the Oklahoma State Cowgirls. They fell in that match 1-0 and falling on the season to a 2-3-1 record. So, Hannah, let's get into these games now. Game 1, Southeastern Louisiana, Nicolene Hansen, she had a game-winning goal in the 85th minute, assisted by none other than Emma Riley. A-State had a 15-10 shot advantage. So, in that game, a whole lot of offense, even though just one goal, a whole lot of defense as well. So, what did you take from that game?
Honestly, like I said last week, I think that we're really getting, to know the players a lot better, working together more as a team. Nicolene is definitely one of the key offensive players, and that definitely showed throughout this week. I'm super excited to see how we do it this season.
Definitely. They definitely got that ball out in the open field and really just taking on that momentum that they've been going on this season. So let's go on to game 2 against Oklahoma State. Olivia Luther was the story of this game. She had 9 blocks. One of those was a penalty kick. But on the other hand, Oklahoma State did have 16 shots in 45 minutes, which was most of the first half, and they had a 33-7 shot advantage. So in that game, it's kind of a tale of two. It was a different tale. Defense was the main key, but very little offense. So what do you think is there an inconsistency there? Is there a consistency there with us? We're playing good on offense one game, and then the next game we got to play more defense.
I definitely think, like our goalie, like you said, she's really good, and she did do really good the second game. The first game, Nicolene kind of stepped up. In the second game, she just wasn't able to pull through as much as she did in the first game. And so I think once we kind of figure out our plays and everything like that and how we want to play throughout the season, I think it's good that we're learning this now though. So, I think it's just kind of taking it from here, moving and progressing throughout the next week.
Is it going to take us buying in to what our coach is saying also as well?
Yes, I'm sure. And definitely working more together. Like I said, defense and offense is how you win games, not one or the other. You have to have both.
Well, there you go. So A-State will begin Sun Belt Conference play on Friday against James Madison University. Kickoff is set for 3:00 p.m., and you can watch that on ESPN+. So with that being said, Hannah, I heard the Red Wolves are tearing it up on the hardwood. How do you feel that they did at the Saluki Bash this past weekend?
The Red Wolves did really good. This past weekend, the A-State volleyball team traveled to Carbondale, Illinois, going 2-1 in the Saluki Bash tournament. They had 2 matches set for Friday. The first game they played was a loss of 3-0 against Eastern Illinois. In the second game, Arkansas State bounced back, beating Southern Illinois 3-0. The third game was Saturday against Alabama A&M. They beat them in 3 straight sets as well to finish off the tournament. And to finish off the tournament, also, Eastern Illinois did win against Southern Illinois. They beat them in 4 sets. They're now 9-0 in this season, which is kind of crazy. I don't think, losing that game in the first, Friday, the first game that we played in that bash, I don't think that it was too harsh of a loss just because they're so talented and so athletic. Our team leader, though, was Sayring. She had 12 kills to finish off. We had a pretty strong offense, just not as strong as I've seen throughout the girls, this season. Definitely, I think we knew we were going to kind of lose, didn't go in as strong and powerful as we have like previously. How do you think that we could have done better during that game?
I definitely agree with you. You made some valid points. Sayring, I'm going to take, she has been the key to our offense this season, but it comes down to having that confidence, like I've been saying with all of our teams. Don't go into a game thinking, oh man, we're just gonna go in here and try to get the win. No, go in believing that you're gonna win. We're 7-2 on the season. We made a drastic improvement from last year. The girls are buying into what Coach Gerweek is doing and what he's saying, and they're buying into each other and they're bonding, and it's really exciting to see. They shouldn't get down on this loss.
Yeah, for sure. The second game, we played Southern Illinois. We did beat them in 3 sets. The team leader was Denser with 12 kills. We had 2 following leaders with Whitlock and Gluns, both having 11 kills. We did amazing offensively. I really hope that this kind of continues throughout the season, more people getting touches on the ball. And we also did pretty good defensively. Like I said, with soccer, offense and defense, they both have to kind of tie in together to win games. Third match, we played Alabama A&M. They are not as athletic as us, I believe. We really took them, we beat them in. We beat them in 3 sets as well. Our team leader was Hollingshed. She had 11 kills, and Helzer finished with 11 as well. So how do you feel offensively we're doing throughout this season? I think we're really pushing strong. 12
kills, 11 and 11. You're going to be hard to beat when you have 3 people with double-digit kills. The ball is constantly moving. You're not knowing who's going to hit the ball. You're not knowing who's getting set up. So it's really keeping a diverse type of feel to the offense, and it's really making the opponent be confused in what's going on the other side of the net. So I really feel like if they keep that game plan and that scheme going, they're going to be very tough to beat, especially come Sun Belt play.
Yes, for sure, for sure. All right, and Tristan and Cooper, back to you.
Well, real quick, I just want to kind of bring up the question is, what do you think this volleyball team needs to do to keep the momentum that they have in order to maybe win Sun Belt Conference?
They've lost games to teams that are one of the top teams in the country. They're not going to be in Nebraska this year, but we're in the Sun Belt. If we can keep this up, you just got to keep going, keep playing consistent. And what I like is they lost that first game on Friday, then proceeded to win their last 2. They didn't let that loss affect them. And if they can keep that mindset throughout the season and keep doing what the coach tells them to, we might run the table and win Sun Belt Conference for volleyball. And with soccer, our defense has looked tremendous, Tristan. Against Oklahoma State, we gave up an early goal, but for the rest of the game, they were locked down. We just couldn't get the offense going.
Yeah, Cooper, and I understand you actually got one of your best highlights while filming with good old Pepe.
It was beautiful. If you haven't checked it out, you can follow me on Twitter. Just type in my first last name. Probably look for the Dwayne Wade profile picture. Or Peyton Burr, he posted it. Shout out to Pepe. It was a shot, I'd say top of the box, comes flying in, and our goalie jumps up, tips it over. It was all in slow-mo. Beautiful shot. I wish I could get the whole clip because she made 3 back-to-back saves right before that, but, she's a dog.
Yeah, it's what the beauty of shooting highlights is, Cooper.
Yes,
We're very appreciative that you get that for us. But, looking ahead at soccer this Friday, what a contest that's going to be.
Yes, we're at home. We have a chance to start off the year 1-0 in conference play, and that's what you need to do. You're 2-3-1 right now. The record's not the best, and it's not up to par, but you've lost 3 games. You lost to Arkansas, you lost to Kansas, and Oklahoma State. 3 teams that are really good at recruiting in soccer. So if you can start off 1-0 in conference play, that's all that matters.
Yeah, Cooper, you make a lot of good points, and, we're going to talk more about the disappointing Memphis loss when we come back. But, guys, you're watching Red Wolf Roundtable here on ASU-TV.
At Arkansas State, we want you to go. Go where learning soars, takes flight, and rockets ahead. Go for experiences, internships, and scholarships. We want you to go. Become A-State Maine. Are you ready to go? Go.astate.edu for details. At Arkansas State, we want you to go.
And welcome back to Red Wolf Roundtable here on ASU-TV. It was another disappointing weekend for Arkansas State football and a very exciting weekend if you're a Memphis football fan. Jake, I know you were very happy to see the score at this past game, but Cooper, what went wrong?
Offense turned the ball over too many times. We had 2 interceptions from JT. We had a crucial fumble in the first quarter when we were moving the ball downfield, fumbled the ball away in our own red zone. But if we want to talk about positives, we got our first points of the year.
It only took
3.
It only took what?
6 quarters.
6 quarters, but we finally got it. And you know, Cooper, we do have some highlights for that game. And you know, going into that Memphis game a little bit, it's really, I don't know how I want to describe this because yes, the score was negative. The score was absolutely horrible. But the thing is you got to learn when to take your punches and roll with it and when to really criticize. I mean, we've been here for 3 weeks now, and we've continuously criticized Butch Jones and his football team. And he made a good point in his press conference that we'll get into later that, you know, everybody wants to talk about the negative and everybody wants to talk about the now. But why, instead of focusing on the now, do we not look to Sunbelt Conference play? Why don't we look maybe next season or something like that? Because at the end of the day, it's only week 2.
Yes, and I get what he's saying. But if we're looking at Sunbelt Conference play, we're looking at Texas State, who beat Baylor.
Yeah.
We're looking at App State, who almost beat North Carolina. And we're seeing all these Coastal Carolina, they're playing really good. You have all these teams that are, you know, playing their non-conference games, same opponents as we are, like in Oklahoma, like in Memphis, and they're staying close with them. They're scoring points against them. It's at least a game. But when we're playing it, 73-0, 37-3. Like,
right.
It's kind of hard to look towards the future when the present is terrible and there's no hope in sight for the future.
Right, Cooper. And the thing is if you go back and watch this game, I wouldn't recommend watching it on ESPN Plus because that production was horrible. But if you go back and you kind of look at some of the, you know, highlights from the game, you really start to think, okay, well, the defense showed a lot of upside. And that's the thing I want to bring up now is with the injuries for Ethan Hassler, who is officially will be out for the next 4 weeks.
Oh, that's terrible.
Coach Jones said that in his press conference today. But looking at the defense side of the ball, they were able to get stops. They were able to sack a quarterback. But your defensive backs were constantly, almost every play, getting beat deep or even getting beat over the middle. So how long before you see that getting fixed to where maybe our defense is not allowing those and maybe we get an interception?
It's just kind of one of those, they got to be on the same page at all times. It's been all year. We just haven't been in the right position. It seems like they're lost at times. They're keeping their eyes too much in the backfield. Like, yes, as a defensive back, you got to look down into the backfield at times just to make sure you can try to read the quarterback's eyes. But they spend too much time trying to figure out what the quarterback's doing. The next thing you know, their man just breaks off to them, and we get beat deep. They make big plays. They're just out-athleticing us, if that's a word, but they're just being better athletes than we are, and it's got to fix soon, or we're going to be in a long season, a real long season.
The thing is the good thing about this show is that it is our show, so we can make it whatever word we want.
All right.
But I don't know. Maybe it's just because I don't understand the game of football like I thought I did. I just cannot physically or mentally pull words to describe the monstrosity, big word, Easton John, I know more than 4 words, that can fully and accurately describe this defense. Because, I mean, we could come up here and say over and over again, oh, A-State football sucks. Butch Jones is a terrible coach. Oh, Jeff Foreman's a terrible receiver. Corey Rucker's overrated. We could come here and say that until our face turned blue. But the thing is is that until we see positive upside, that's all we're doing. We're just stating the facts.
Yeah.
And I just don't know how long it's going to take before we see something change.
Well, it all comes down to play calling, especially on the offensive side. It has been so inconsistent. We will have the run game going perfectly. The next thing you know, we try 3 straight plays passes. Or we'll go with our out routes a couple times, get 4 3-yards. Yeah, you're not picking up 20 yards per play, but all you need is 4 yards. You get 4 yards, another 4 yards, another 4 yards. That's 12 yards and a first down. But we'll go handoff, get 2 yards, a little out route, 4 yards. Right now you're thinking, okay, we have a manageable 3rd down, and then we chunk it deep. And when your starting quarterback is underthrowing your wide receiver on every deep route, why do you keep calling it? The OC has been terrible.
Heckendorf.
Yes, Heckendorf. We've talked bad about Butch Jones, but the offensive coordinator is just as terrible. Caught myself, but he is god-awful. The inconsistency makes me mad. Like,
My thing is why on 3rd and long are you running the ball up the left tackle's butt? Why can't you maybe run a play fake, hit Foreman coming over the middle, or hitting Rucker on a comeback? But let's just put this to perspective. Instead of calling him Keith Heckendorf, which is his name, his new name is Keith Heckendork, because that's what he is. He's a dork.
Yes, I mean, play calls, terrible. Team, they're playing terrible. The whole staff.
Terrible.
Yep. And you know what?
They're a bunch of dummies.
Yeah. I was about to get that. I'm glad you read my mind, but gosh, I don't know, because right now, I know we're not talking about Stony Brook just yet, but I don't have too much confidence because we haven't proved we can move the ball or score. Just because, yes, the players can do only so much, but Butch Jones, he's brought in top recruiting classes the past 2 years. We're on year 3, and we get told, oh, well, year 3 for Butch Jones is his best year. Or after Oklahoma, he said, well, when I was at Central Michigan, we got beat 75 to 14 to Clemson. And he was like, but we had J.J. Watt, Antonio Brown. I was like, yeah, you're talking about J.J. Watt and Antonio Brown.
Well, Coop, and I'm not trying to cut you off.
No, you're good.
But, I don't know. It's just one of those things that really open it to perspective to pose the question. I mean, maybe we just need to get James's take on it and see what he has to say on it.
Hey, guys. I really feel like our defense played stronger in the first half on this game, but we just got tired. Our offense just could not get it going. Like you said, 2 interceptions and a fumble while we were driving. We really had hope for us on that drive there. Then all of a sudden we lose the ball. But I'm really feeling like we have a good team going ahead here in this season. We just got to stay the course, and we really just need to really just keep our heads up. So.
Well, James, let me ask you this, and kind of, Coop, this poses the question to you as well.
Okay.
But does this fuel Butch's seat even more to be on fire?
You can go ahead, James.
Yeah, I was gonna say, James, you got it.
Take it away.
So, can you repeat that last part one more time? Sorry.
Does it make Butch's seat even more hotter than it already was?
Honestly, yeah, because I mean, people are gonna look at how much we've gotten outscored. They're not on the inside looking in. They're on the outside, so they're not really knowing what he's telling the players and how he's trying to motivate them and, try to keep them have a positive mindset. But on the outside looking in and with the media and everything, oh yes, he's definitely on the hot seat. Definitely.
What do you think?
Oh, yeah. He's been on the hot seat since he left Oklahoma. He sat down and, got a little pep in his step, but obviously he likes that little burn because he's just sitting in fire right now. And unless we can do something against Stony Brook to prove everyone wrong, that fire extinguisher's not coming anytime soon.
Yeah, Cooper, and it's going to be very interesting to see how the rest of the season poises for Coach Jones, because I know I know there's been a couple things going on, but Cooper, when we come back, we're going to see Coach Jones's press conference, and we're going to dive a little bit more into Stony Brook. So stick around, guys. You're watching Wolf Roundtable here on ASU-TV.
ASU-TV, shows like Red Wolf Roundtable, ASU-TV News, Westside Football, and more. Gain real-life experience while doing what you love. Get involved with ASU-TV today.
Here to deliver the latest news on A-State sports, ranging from football, basketball, baseball, and more.
I'm your host, Tristan Harlan, alongside your other host, Cooper Melder.
Red Wolf Roundtable is your local sports source.
Tune in to Red Wolf Roundtable to get your fix on sports talk and news. Welcome back to Red Wolf Roundtable here on ASU-TV. And Cooper, you know, we've been mentioning this press conference a lot.
We have been.
So I think we may need to see what Coach Jones had to say in his press conference that I was actually at. And then when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about some of the fan reaction to Coach Jones' loss last week against Memphis. Coach, you guys had a handful of injuries against Memphis last week. How difficult does that make maybe your job in preparation for the rest of the week, especially through practice? I know JT Strout was one of the guys that went down. Is there any sort of changes that maybe you make this week to prepare maybe Jackson Daly to take that starting spot Saturday?
Well, I think it's the way we practice, first of all, is all three quarterbacks get ample repetitions, particularly, you know, number one and number two. And then number three, you have a package for him. But Jackson gets the exact same amount of reps as JT, so that won't change at all. But it is a challenge as a coach, but this is where your depth kicks in. It probably leads into a great segue right now, unfortunate, but we've lost Tank Sujic for the year. So he's done for the year with a knee injury. So obviously feel for him. This is the second year in a row that his season has come to this. I feel for him. I feel for his family. Ethan Hassler will be out 4 weeks. So we're pretty banged up across the board. So we're going to have to really, really now rely on some youngsters and, you know, continue to get them ready. But those are the two significant injuries. Everyone else, the injuries that occurred in the game, they're basically listed as probable and day-to-day.
Well, Cooper, after the comments from Coach Jones about the injuries and possibly Jackson Daly taking the starting quarterback spot, just real quick, I want to ask, after this loss to Memphis, does Coach Jones lose the support of the student section?
I really think he does, because every year since I've been here, he's preaching to the student section, come out to the games. And, you know, the first year Butch Jones, they had a good student section until, you know, we eventually went on to win only 2 games, so you can imagine how many students actually wanted to show up to the games. Then last year, you know, we didn't have the hype. We went 3-9, and, you know, they were preaching this year, what can we do to get the student section better? We'll put a DJ in there, you know, I'll come out to the Pines, celebrate with y'all after the win. And then he keeps preaching, if y'all show up, we will put the product on the field. That's what he always says. If y'all show up, we will do our job and win. They showed up. The fans showed up. The whole lower bowl was basically sold out on both sides. The upper decks, they were filled up a bit. I mean, it was a pretty good crowd for after a 73-0 loss. And you show out 37-3. You can bet you that student section will start to slowly wrinkle down.
Well, and, you know, it poses the question, Coop, that, you know, and not a question, but it just, I want to bring something up. So for those of you that don't know, every Arkansas State student is required to pay a $350 athletic fee when the term starts. Does that money to go to the athletic department? I don't know. But what I am getting at is I wonder how many students are going to demand that, if Butch Jones doesn't win 6 games this year, I wonder how many students are going to demand that $350 back.
Well, maybe demand half of it, because we have really good student sections at basketball games. I mean, you know what? take away half. We want half of our money back because at least the basketball teams, men and women's, are producing something on the court. They said, if you show up, we will give y'all a show. And they did exactly that. And so right now I'm just thinking, football, you have a big game against Stony Brook. If you don't win this game, you can kiss your fans goodbye.
If Stony Brook comes into Jonesboro, a.k.a. Jay Vegas, and defeats the Red Wolves, I probably won't go back to ESPN, the control room after that one.
Yeah.
Because, yikes. That's a question for worst case scenario and a rainy day. But, going back into the student section a little bit, what about the fan base? What about the surrounding Jonesboro area? Has the surrounding Jonesboro area, and I know I'm going to get crucified for asking this question, but has the surrounding Jonesboro area finally 100% committed to the Hogs?
Woo! All right, this is our show, so we can say basically whatever we want. Yeah. And I honestly think this is how I view it. You have your diehard A-State fans. You have your diehard A-State alumni. But you also have fans that live in Jonesboro who, they grew up around Central Arkansas and Northwest Arkansas, and that's Arkansas area. That's Hog, Razorback area. And so I think living in Jonesboro, they're like, you know what, we will support both teams. But right now, after going 2-10, 3-9, you're 0-2, and nothing's looking great, I think you're going to start seeing that double support into a single support just for the team in Northwest Arkansas, being the Razorbacks. And I don't know. You'll have your A-State fans who claims that Arkansas State and Arkansas is a rivalry, which it's not. We stated that last week. It's Arkansas State, Memphis. Get that through your head, and then maybe people will like you more. But that's all I got to say. Yeah,
and like I said, I know that was kind of that one point, that one nerve that you just don't touch around here.
Oh, we got to poke at it.
But I just out of curiosity for a second, I want to pose this question, not to anybody in here, but I want to ask people that are watching, okay? And I know some people that are very well fans of the show aren't going to like this question. But how long do you see this realistically going forward? How long realistically do you see Butch Jones staying at Arkansas State? And you can get it at us on Twitter. You can get it at us on Instagram. I want to know your guys' take on this, okay? How long does the Butch Jones experiment last in Jonesboro before every Arkansas State student starts going to the games, not to cheer for them, but to troll with crying Butch fatheads, with Arkansas Razorback memorabilia? I think that's how you say that word. But I just want to know everybody's thoughts and comments on this. If you can get at us on Twitter, you can get at us on Instagram. And I don't care what you have to say. I genuinely want to know what you think. How long does the Butch Jones experiment have to go before 100% of the A-State body is fully supporting the Razorbacks?
I mean, that's the answer. Y'all go to our Twitter right now. It's live. Go to our Twitter. Answer that. We would love to see that. But I think the saving grace is this basketball team.
Yeah, easily.
Coach Hodson, Coach Rogers, y'all have the world of Jonesboro on your shoulders right now.
And I hate to say it.
We don't want to put pressure on you already.
Nets ain't free, baby. But
no, but I'm just saying the pressure's already on. And you had Coach Hodson call out Arkansas during the Scarlet and Black game. Well, don't let that backfire, because if it does, and the way football, people could say what they want, but football runs the state of Arkansas. It runs the state of Arkansas, and however your team's doing, it really matters. It matters more than you think, because back when Arkansas had Chad Morris in A-State, they were winning 8-9 games, winning the Sun Belt, going to bowl games. They were on cloud 9, and they were talking their talk. But now, I'm just going to go out and say it, Arkansas State, karma's a bad word. Y'all hired Chad Morris 2.0, and, you kind of had it coming. With everything you said, you kind of had it coming. And we're going to make people mad today. So, you know what? You had it coming to you. You said what you said, and then now it's coming right back at you. I mean, it's getting rough up here in good old Jay Vegas.
All right, before talking about the Razorbacks, this makes me hurl everywhere. We're going to go ahead and go to break once again. You guys are watching Red Wolf Roundtable here on ASU-TV.
ASU-TV, covering all your favorite sports. From Red Wolf Roundtable to Westside football and more, ASU-TV has you covered. Tune in now to ASU-TV for news and coverage on these sports and more.
Welcome back to Red Wolf Roundtable here on ASU-TV. And Cooper, now it's time to preview Stony Brook.
Yes, you know, Stony Brook coming in, they're 0-2, we're 0-2, and it's a must-win game. It's really a must-win game. As you're seeing the stats now, we average 1.5 points per game.
Woo!
Let me say that again, 1.5. You can't even score 1 point in football normally.
We're going to win the national championship, baby.
We're 55 points allowed, and we give up 515 yards a game. I mean,
Boy, we suck.
yeah, and at least Stony Brook at least gets almost 2 touchdowns. We don't even get a field goal. We don't even get a safety.
Oh, I
mean,
just.
It's the barn burner of the century. If this was NCAA 14, the caption would be, "Who's watching this?"
Here's the thing, okay, and I'm just going to go ahead and say this. I don't think anybody understands how hard it is to make a 45-minute show when your football team can't even get in the damn end zone. It is that tough. I don't understand what you want us to do anymore. Like, I'm going to take off my glasses, and I can't see a thing. And I'm going to look everybody dead in the face right now. What do you want from us when our football team can't even get in the end zone? Dominic Savata, who was on the Sun Belt Conference preseason watch team list, whatever you call it, he's 1 for 3 so far in the season. 1 for 3. What do you want us to do?
I mean, oh my gosh. But, wow. You know what? You know what's also killing the A-State Red Wolves right now? Quit with the trick plays, Butch. Run the dang ball. What can I say? We ran, when we came in the second half, we started running the ball. Run the dang ball. Jaquez Cross, he only has 13 carries in 2 games.
And he still has 67 yards.
And that's impressive with how terrible our O-line's been lately.
Hey, okay. We will. I'm going to stop you there. Hold on, wait a minute. Okay. Our offensive line has been better than last year.
Yes, they've been.
But it's not that hard to be better than last year.
But if they can just start running the ball more. We were driving the ball downfield. We had Jackson Daly at quarterback. We ran 2 straight plays in a row. We did run play. And he got a 19-yard gain and a 12-yard gain. And then we ran it again. We got a 5-yard gain. We brought in Zach Wallace, got a 3-yard gain. 3 straight passes, 4th and 1. We don't convert it.
Well, and you brought up trick plays, and I want to mention this right now.
Oh, Memphis got us dirty.
So Memphis runs this trick play, okay, where Seth Hennigan's, running. He runs to the right a little bit and just lobs it up. Yeah, essentially. But do you guys understand? They ran the same play against Bethune-Cookman week 1. Didn't score off of it, but still got a monster game. Seth Hennigan himself says in his post-game press conference that after the play, he walks to the Arkansas State sideline and says, "You should have watched film."
Ha! Well, is this like Jamarcus Russell getting handed a blank little VHS tape saying watching film? Then they ask him about it, and he said, "Yeah, I watched it, Coach." I guess that's what we're seeing. If you don't watch your film against Stony Brook, they will come into Arkansas State, and they will beat you.
Yeah.
But that brings up the question, speaking of Jackson Daly, who's QB1? Do we go back with JT, or does Gardner Minshew himself, Jackson Daly, take QB1?
So,
this is pass attempts for this year.
I don't know. I'm going to say Jackson Daly solely because of the mustache.
Okay,
At this
Daly.
point.
I personally agree with that. We saw our most success in the second half with Jackson Daly. I mean, he started moving the ball. Yes, we didn't score, but he could move the ball. He knows this offense. JT, he was at Tennessee for 2 years. He went to Colorado. He's here. Obviously, something's not working. The last team he was starting quarterback for won one game. One game, the Colorado Buffaloes. They won one game. I'm trying to win at least. You know what? We won 3. Let's go for 4 this year. I don't see it happening, but I want something more than just one game win. And I feel like Jackson Daly.
I just want people to care. Because it seems like the team doesn't care. It seems like athletics themselves doesn't care. Our coaching staff can't even care. And you expect us to come on here and care? You expect us to go, well, you see, Cooper, the Red Bulls had a hard-fought loss, but they did swell.
Yeah, I mean, it's to the point where I wanted to be a homer. I wanted to be like, Arkansas State, they can do this, this, and that, and improve. No, we haven't seen improvement for the past 3 years. And right now, Stony Brook is going to come into our place and beat us. If I'm being completely honest, they're going to come into our place and beat us. We're going to go on the road to UMass.
They're going to beat us.
They're going to beat us. Next thing you know, we got Southern Miss at home. And no, we're going to lose to Stony Brook, lose to Southern Miss, then go to UMass and lose again, and we're 0-5.
Cooper, before we get too chaotic and before we get, wrangled by Mr. Sullivan, James, Hannah, what do you guys think about this team? What do you think about the game? What's wrong with the team? Let's just start there.
Well, previously, after hearing that we are the 3rd worst team in the country.
Third?
3rd.
I thought we were the worst. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's what, yeah. We're going to just celebrate on that because honestly, I'm a little embarrassed about my predictions over the past 2 games, so I'm going to probably just try to keep my mouth shut for this one. We should win, but are we going to win, James? How do you feel? What do you think?
I don't know either, honestly. Maybe they just need to come rub my bald head for good luck. I really, I don't know what to really expect with this team, honestly. I mean, yes, they're an FCS team and all of that, but just like these other 2 games, you definitely could not underestimate Oklahoma, really couldn't underestimate Memphis. I mean, what are you going to do now? Are you going to step up and get a win? Or, to me, honestly, if you lose this game, I feel like people are just going to be like, just throw the whole season away. I don't know, because you had a packed house Saturday. People were excited. You played well first half. Then all of a sudden, everything just goes downhill.
Yeah,
so I feel like people are just kind of losing hope.
I just feel like, first of all, we can't keep the ball long enough for defense to get a whiff of air.
Exactly.
So we're a little exhausted out there on the field. You can definitely tell that in the 3rd quarter. I'm honestly, just like I said, I'm going to keep my mouth shut. So y'all can take it away from here. I have nothing more to say.
Hannah, you oughta set it with your chest. But the thing is,
we need our score predictions. We bashed them. It's time for score predictions, and I'm just going to set this ring. This is your last chance. This is the first game I'm going to predict A-State to win. This is the very first game I have A-State going to win. And my score is going to be 17-14 A-State. Wow, what a game. But that's what I've been shown all season. That's what I've been shown. You're averaging 1.5 points per game. You're giving up 55. 17-14 A-State. If you don't win this, don't expect me to give A-State another win prediction.
Cooper, and it's going to be crazy, the fact that Tristan Hart is going to give A-State a victory after what he just said about them, but I think it's going to be 10-7 Arkansas State. It's going to be an absolute barn burner. Right. It's going to be the game of the year. It's going to be like Vanderbilt versus Hawaii, an absolute toilet bowl.
Yeah. James, Hannah, I know y'all didn't want a score prediction, but we got to hear it. We got to hear it.
You go ahead, James.
I'm more so on the low scored spectrum, like Tristan. So I'm going to say at least 14-7 Red Wolves. I'm also with Coop. They don't get this win, I'm done. Don't ask me for another score prediction. Loss for the rest of the season. Don't even ask me the score. I don't care. It's just loss, honestly.
So for me, I'm going to do score prediction low also, just because our defense has been working their butts off. Offensively, if we can just, maybe change something up, maybe, just
Quarterback,
maybe.
Quarterback?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe we can win this one, 12-8. I'm going to keep it close. It's going to be a pretty close game. Hopefully, people do still come out. I know I'm going to be there. You going to be there, James?
Yeah, I'll be there. We're going to the Ponds.
Okay, yeah.
Okay,
yeah, we're
all
still
right,
going to be there. So I'm not going to make y'all come. I understand why you wouldn't. But please do show up because we do need the support that we can get. So take it away, Tristan.
Well.
Hey, Tristan, I'm going to be there. Give me some. I like that. We're going to be there.
I'm going to be doing graphics on ESPN.
I'm going to be shooting B-roll.
Well, you see this? This is the A-State football team, okay? If they lose to Stony Brook,
They're crumbling.
you could just go ahead and throw them out the pasture. Sorry, Mackenzie, I didn't mean to almost hit you. But the thing is I just thank you. I don't know. Like, you got me going into full panic mode over here because the thing is, okay, I want to mention the thing. Hannah said the defense is very tired. Yeah, they're tired, and because they've been giving up almost 50 points a game almost.
When your offense averages about 15 seconds per drive because they go out there 3 and outs every time, your defense comes out there, holy crap, I'm tired. I need water, but they can't even sit down and get a water break because our offense is already getting called punt team on 3rd and long. Our defense, they have been stepping up. Our defense, shout out to them. They played their hearts out against Memphis. It was just one of those. Our offense couldn't produce, so they didn't have any help. So maybe our defense can score before the offense.
Dude, like I said, I don't know. I just want to sit here and say, yes, Arkansas State's going to win. They're going to have a great turnaround of the season. I wish my IFB would quit falling out. But they're going to have a great turnaround to the season. But I'm telling you right now, if Stony Brook comes in here and beats us like Arkansas State didn't prepare, you can best believe I'm not going to mention them.
Get ready for the rant that next Tuesday.
Oh, yeah.
If Stony Brook, oh, man, we might just do a whole 45-minute straight show of just ranting.
It's going to be a shoot interview for real. But look at it. Let's just be positive.
Okay.
Let's be positive because
We've been negative Nancy.
They don't like negativity because they can't take it. Let's talk about positive. Let's talk about Jackson Daly. The only positive thing on the offensive side of the ball.
And Jaquez Cross.
That too.
Those two guys, I feel like if Jackson Daly turns this team around and takes the captain's hat, he's the leader of the ship, I will be so happy because Jackson, he's been here. He was a redshirt freshman. He's A-State. I get you want to get transfers, and you have Texas State who brought in a bunch of transfers, 40-state transfers. They beat Baylor. Well, we don't really have that here. We brought in transfers, but obviously it's not working out. We need A-State players. We need born and bred A-State players. We need to recruit the crap out of the state of Arkansas. We can't do that. And if you're not being able to recruit in-state, then you can kiss it goodbye. The best, since we already talked about it, the best Arkansas teams over in Fayetteville were, if you looked at it, they were all from Arkansas.
Yeah.
Why can't we start going in and getting those 3 stars, those 2 stars? Yeah, we're in the Sun Belt. We don't need 5-star talent. If we can get high 3 stars, good 2 stars, and maybe a 4-star, you can win. Recruit in state, that's how you win. That's all I got to say. Born and bred Arkansas, that's what we need.
Well, Cooper, I think we're going to have to get out of here so that way we can go pack our suitcase and go into hiding before those in athletics come to hunt our head. But, guys, we hope you've enjoyed this episode of Red Wolf Roundtable here on ASU-TV. When we come back next week, it's either going to be a long rant or it's going to be talking about an A-State victory. See you guys next week.